You're listening to Little Rockers Radio, and today we're talking to actor, singer, TV presenter, mentor, wife, mum of two, and she's also the founder, CEO and creative director of fashion line Chi Khi, Natalie Bassingthwaighte. Hi Natalie, how are you?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you. How are you going?
I'm really well, thank you. Your bio is massively long. You must be exhausted.
Yeah, it is crazy. The thing is, when I'm working, I forget all the other things I've done or do or have done. It is. When I get that introduction, I'm like, oh yeah, I've done heaps.
Yeah, I'm pretty good, aren't I? And I think when you're a mum, you just get used to just juggling so much anyway, don't you? You get used to having so many balls in the air.
Exactly. Mums are the best multitaskers. If you want a job done, get a mum to do it, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we're catching up today, obviously, to talk a little bit around being mum, but also, which we'll get to in a minute, but also to talk about your, relatively new, I guess. It's about 8 months old, your clothing range, Chi Khi, which was launched in March this year. And I've been having a bit of a look through it. It really fills a gap in the market for kids' clothes that are stylish, eco-friendly, super comfy and great for sensitive skin, which both my children had terrible skin with eczema when they were younger. So just tell us a little bit about it and your inspiration for launching the range.
Look, I think after you become a mum, your whole world, my whole world was about my kids and everything you buy, you buy clothes, but you buy them for your kids now. You go shopping, but it's all about the kids. And I knew that, look, I've always been an adventurous kind of woman. I feel like I'm not afraid to try new things. And I was buying all those magazines and mums magazines and seeing all these mums doing these amazing things on the side so that they could still be great mums and be at home. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. And so I knew it had to be something that I enjoyed. I wanted to start a business to see what I was capable of. Yep. I love fashion. I love design. I love architecture. I love my kids. My kids had sensitive skin. And so that kind of started it all. And I went on a mission to find the right fabrication. My son had been sleeping in these bamboo sheets and they were just so much better for him, because it's cool in summer, it's warm in winter, it breathes, it washes really well, it's incredibly durable, and, it's great for the planet and for the little ones. So I just started sampling fabric, which was really strange, and now it's grown into what it has, and it's just, it's really exciting. It's grown so much in such a short amount of time. So and
it has, hasn't it? I mean, it's only been, I mentioned, 8 months since launch, and you launched with, or you've got a fair bit in the range now. You've got Chi Khi Mini, which is for 0 to 2, Chi Khi Kids, which is for up to 7, Bear, which is the skincare, and I think this week that you've also launched Chi Khi Lounge?
Yeah, we've just launched Chi Khi Lounge, which the concept behind that is because the fabric, people, when they feel it, they're all just, their jaws hit the ground. They're like, wow, I've never really experienced anything like this, the feeling of it. So the concept behind Chi Khi Lounge is that, you can go from day to night, from sleep to play, which, is really good for kids instead of, putting them in their onesies or whatever and then going, oh, I kind of want to dress them up to go out. But it's a bit of a hassle.
Yeah, exactly.
They can have their day nap and they can leave and hit the streets. It still look like they've got an outfit on, but it's comfy enough for them to sleep in. So it's pretty cool. Yeah,
and it's a great idea because I remember, my two are 6 and 8 now, and I think once you've had 2 or 3, you kind of, whatever goes with your kids. Yeah. But when especially when you're a first-time mum, I know I had a certain, clothes to put them to bed in, and there were certain clothes for them to play around the house, and then there were other clothes that I would take them down the street in. But probably, I don't know, 2-3 weeks in, I was like, this is a joke. They don't like being changed. I'm tired. I can't be bothered changing them.
Exactly.
So it seems like the perfect sort of idea that they can go to bed in it. It looks so super comfy. It's easy to take off and change a nappy if you need to. You can go down the street and it's just easy, which is the mums.
Yeah. And the thing is, the mums love it, but the kids love it because it's comfy. And I had so many issues with my daughter going, I don't want to wear this, certain outfit because it was too itchy or scratchy, or they want to be comfortable, and I, as a mum, want them to kind of look cool and have like a nice look. But, so it was a really perfect balance. And the only thing I want to do now is make stuff for me that I can actually go to bed in and then go straight to the shop.
Well, I was showing my husband the range last night and I said, have you got anything you want to ask Natalie? He's like, when is she bringing out a men's range?
Oh my God, you know what? It's the biggest compliment I've had is from men and women just saying, oh, I want one in my size. Like,
yes.
Can you please start making them? So watch this space. You never know.
Absolutely. There we go. Now, I was also looking through the photos, and some of the photos that you've got of the kids, just adorable in there with the beanies and the lounge range. It looks perfect, but I mean, I've worked with children and photo shoots before, and I know it can be a very long, very different day to what the photos actually look like in the end. How did the shoots go, and how were the children?
Well, our very first shoot went quite smoothly, and for some reason this one was just out of control. So we had all the little babies in the lounge range. We like, my concept was to kind of get them all together and look a little bit like more behind the scenes, like they're all in, put them all on set and then run away and shoot. That was the aim, and that never happened. We did it and they all just burst into tears. Oh my God, this is terrible. Because, they're all together but they don't really know each other. So we had to scrap that idea and just shoot them all individually and then, Photoshop later.
Yeah.
Into one scene.
Yeah. And
so it was pretty funny and hectic.
Yes, I can imagine. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the photos look gorgeous. They just, they show off the range really well.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, one of the other things that I wanted to ask you is that you seem to be really hands-on and I suppose accessible. I know that some celebrities who bring out clothing labels or any type of product or service or what have you are involved in the creative process and the media launches and talking to media. But I've noticed that you've been at the expos, the One Fine Baby, the Baby and Toddler Show. So you're actually meeting the people that are buying your clothing. Was that always a plan, or is that just something that sort of, I suppose, naturally happened?
I think, look, I think that a lot of the celebs, and I'm generalising here, but that do that are usually paid to be the face of something.
Yeah, true. Yep.
This company I started, my husband and I put the money in. We do the day-to-day work on it, and we have a great team now that do a lot of stuff for us, but I just feel like it's my job, it's our business, and to kind of pay someone to go, like, I'm bumping in and bumping out. Like, I've got me and my friends and we're like packing boxes and emptying stock, and then we'll stay there for the whole show and, meet people. And the thing is, I know the brand more than anyone else because I created it. Yeah. And yes, I have designers, and yes, I have people who do the stuff that they know how to do well, but I know everything about what's in the skin products, for example. It was really important to me to create a product that worked, and it wasn't just, me putting my name to something that I hadn't tried and tested. And so these, like, I never even knew how to do this. Like, how do you make products, or how does this happen? And so I got a production manager on board, and initially she sent me a tube of something and said, here it is, try this, tell me if you like it, and then we'll chuck our hero ingredients in. And I went, what? I just was stunned. Yes. That's how you did this. So I said, I don't want to do that. I want it to be ours. I want to make it from scratch. And so she was like, oh, okay, no problem. So then we went to a lab, and she was asking me what ingredients I liked. And I said, well, coconut oil is good for us. Like, is it good for babies? And we just went down this whole mission of making the best product. And in the end, we came up with, we've trialled 6 products, but we launched 2 to begin with. So a nappy balm, which is all natural. It's really light, but it's so effective. Like, my son had the reddest butt within 24 hours. It was completely gone. Wow. And that's the feedback we've been getting. And then the Wonder Cream, it has calendula CO2 in it, which is 45 times more healing power than regular calendula. Gosh. And so if you have kids with sensitive skin, you've used calendula before. Yes. Well, this is so strong, but it's got no scent, so it's beautiful on the skin. The kids love wearing it. It doesn't sting or hurt or anything like that. But the feedback we've been having from that is astronomical. One lady tried it on her daughter within 24 hours. She said, it's really made a difference, but let me stick with it for a week because she's swimming every day. And, when you're swimming and you've got bad skin, it just is awful. Yes. And she said she used it morning and night. You only need a little bit because it's very rich and intensive. And by the end of 5 days, she didn't have to use her hydrocortisone once, and her skin was completely clear. So we have I wanted to make a product that worked, that people could be like, oh, wow, it really does. But also the packaging, I really wanted the packaging to look cool. I wanted it to be, use our DNA, I guess, the brand DNA. So, we have great clothes, but they actually are good for you. And, it had to follow through for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the creams, especially my son suffered terrible eczema in his first year of life. He would get it on his head terribly and scratch his hair out overnight. We would take him into hospital and we found out in the end what his allergies were. But as a mum, when you're in that situation with children that have eczema or skin problems, you're really reaching out and trying to find people that you trust. So the fact that you've developed it from the beginning and you didn't want to take an off-the-shelf product and throw in a few extra things really builds that trust when you've got mums that are really actually desperately looking for something that's going to help.
I want people to really know that it worked and that it wasn't just, it wasn't for show. It was a product that does something, and that's what that's what I stand by. Like, if I buy a product, whether it's for me, my kids, or whatever, I want to know that I'm not getting ripped off. I want to know that they care and that I'm not just buying something that looks really cool in the package and then just never want to buy it again. And then the thing is, for me as a consumer, I never buy that product again if it doesn't work.
No, exactly.
But as the owner of a business, I was like, I want it to work. This is going to work. So I can vouch that it definitely works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the look and the feel, and as you said, everything that you've sort of carried through, you've done a fabulous job. Like, it's the whole range is just amazing.
Thank you.
I'm curious to know, because you've achieved such a lot, as I mentioned in the intro, singer, actor, TV presenter. I'm curious to know what you've learnt about yourself, if you've learnt anything new since launching Chi Khi.
Oh my gosh, I have learnt so much. I've learnt that I don't want to work 14-hour days. You start these things and you think, this will give me more time with my children. And obviously starting any business, it's sort of harder at the beginning. Once it gets going, I'm sure it's a bit easier. But look, I've learnt that I'm really proud of myself because I didn't know anything about, fabrications. I didn't know anything about starting your own business. I didn't know anything about logistics or just anything, really. And I realised how empowering that made me feel as a woman, that I could, I started off buying books, like business books. I started asking questions to anyone that I thought would know more than me, which was a lot of people, people who have been in the industry for a long time, whether it be for children's clothes or not. Yeah. Just, someone was, the beautiful girls from Style Runner were very instrumental in teaching me, don't spend this amount of money on your website, but don't spend more than that, spend more money on this, don't spend more money on that. For me, it was very clear from the beginning that I wanted the brand to have a very distinct DNA, I wanted that monochromatic feel. I wanted it to feel urban and edgy. I wanted it to be really super cozy. I wanted it to have, that eco vibe. So I learnt that. I knew that from the beginning, but the further I went into it, obviously the more I know. And now I know how to run a business, is the bottom line, which is bizarre. And it is a steep learning curve, and it is, unfortunately, at the beginning, it is 14-hour days, isn't it? Like, I've got the two. Mine are at school now, so it's a little bit different for me, but it's a lot of late nights and a lot of early mornings while the kids are still sleeping, and I really struggle to find balance. Like, some weeks I feel like I'm nailing it. I'm on top of the world. I'm exercising, I'm eating well, I'm working, things are going great, and then other weeks I feel like I've dropped all my balls. How do you go with it? Are you finding balance, or? Everyone always says to me, how do you find the balance? I'm like, I don't know, I haven't found it yet. I'm still looking. And that's the honest truth. I don't know all the answers. I don't get it right all the time. Sometimes I'm, bawling my eyes out and it's all too much and I want to throw it all in, to be honest. And then other times I'm on top of the world. So it is a juggle. More recently, I made a real commitment to myself to add the exercise back in, because for me, mentally, obviously physically it really helps, but mentally for me it makes a huge difference in my week with what I can cope with, stress. And so I'm like, right, I've got to go twice a week at least. You know, I Pilates once a week and I do tennis once a week, and that's my downtime. It's that, 2 hours a week that I don't think about work. And yeah, I'm still working out the balance. I haven't quite nailed it. But yeah, there are some significant changes happening in my life and my career to make that balance a little better.
Working
on it.
I think that probably will always, whether you're a working mum or not, I think it's probably something that will, or realistically, we'll always be working on to some degree. I noticed that you said, and I think I've got a massive girl crush on Lisa Messenger, and I read that you
me too.
and the books that she's written, and I think my downtime is reading her books, and I find that I just get some little ideas and bits and pieces from her, and they're not around being a mum, they're around business. But if you're an at-home mum and you're thinking of starting a business or anything along those lines, then they're books that I recommend to everyone to go out and buy. Daring and Disruptive and the playbooks, because they're all fabulous.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one thing that I've learned, which is a really big thing for me, and it was from one of Lisa's books actually, was, don't be afraid to ask for kind of a contra deal with someone. So I think she was saying with Avatar, now I'll probably get the actual brand wrong, but with Avatar the movie, the producer and it was either Coke or Pepsi were like, right, well, let's do some deal, or it was the film, and they swapped. So no money exchanged hands. So, Avatar put the drink into the film, and the drink advertised the film, and the film advertised the drink. And so it was just this like, oh my gosh, I mean, that seems so simple, but who knew? So that's something that I have, I'm right across now. So I'll go and do deals with certain people, and I'll be like, right, well, do you want to do a deal so that we get, we're going to have to pay as much for this thing, but then what can we give you? And it's just been fabulous. If one advice I can give is, why not? If you can help someone else out and they can help you, no money does have to exchange hands in a lot of ways. Yeah,
exactly. And I think it's just getting used to asking, isn't it? Because
don't be afraid. If you don't ask, you don't get. No.
Yeah, exactly. Completely true. Now, something I like to ask everyone that I talk to, all of mums and dads, obviously because I run a radio station for children, so it's all about music for kids. What do you have? And it doesn't necessarily need to be a children's song, but do you have a favourite song or lullaby that you sing to your children?
I do. Well, I do one that I make up, but I also Summer Holidays. Do you remember that we're all going on a summer holiday?
Oh yes, I do.
I've done that for both my kids, for Harper and Hendrix. He's a little bit over it now, though, which is a bit embarrassing. He's like, no singing. That's it. I'm done. But yeah, that's one that I remember even from when Harper was a little baby. So.
Oh, beautiful. That's nice. I sing Hush. Well, it used to be Hush Little Babies for my kids, and now it's Hush My Big Girl and Hush My Big Boy. So I don't know. I have to keep changing as they get older. But anyway.
No.
Now I was doing some looking at the calendar just before, and it's 5 weeks leading up to Christmas, which is not far away at all.
Oh my gosh, is it?
It is. Sorry, I don't mean to put that on you, but so it's obviously Chi Khi's first Christmas, and I've seen that you've got some specials with purchase, so people can hop onto the website, which is chikhi.co, to purchase the line. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. Or otherwise, we're actually having a pop-up, our first Sydney pop-up shop in Rosebery at Lily and Lolly, the furniture shop. It's so divine. You want to check out their stuff too. But yeah, it's the first pop-up shop we've done in Sydney. Everyone's been asking for such a long time. We're going to be having up to 75% off on selected styles from last season. So it's a really good one. I'll be there on the Saturday, but we're open from Wednesday the 25th to Saturday.
Right. Yeah. Wednesday the 25th to Saturday. I'll pop all of that information up on the website as well as obviously the links to chikhi.co and some information about the Christmas specials that you've got coming up, which is now, as I said, only 5 weeks away. So
we've got the beautiful books that my sister and I wrote a few years ago called Sisterhood, and they're just so, without talking myself up, but I will. But she goes, no, they're just, we're giving them away for free if you spend $100 or more, plus a free gift box as well. But they're a really beautiful hardcover book. You can keep it yourself, give it to your daughter. give it to a friend, but the kids get to really, it's about following your dreams, believing in yourself. We tell some stories about when we were kids that were really hard to get through, some bullying things and all sorts, but then the kids can write, their favourite things. They can put photographs in it. They kind of discover who they are along the journey of reading the book, and it's a keepsake, so they can keep it forever and look back at the times when they were like 8, 9, 10.
Oh, beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh, good. All right, so people can hop on to, obviously, cheeky.co. Yeah. And I really appreciate your time in joining us today. It's been great to chat to you about the range. Pleasure, absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Maybe we'll see you down at the pop-up.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. And, best of luck with everything, and happy Christmas, I suppose. It's only 5 weeks away.
Christmas. I'm going to go shopping.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.